So I would suggest that we take this report, and we sit down with the Board of Selectmen and Sandown and just ask them. Because right now, the authority, and the duty of this committee is to say it's feasible and suitable, or it's not. And we write the report, the withdrawal report, if we determine that it's feasible and suitable.
I mean, determining feasibility and suitability and looking at the question of a buyout, that number is Sandown's pocketbook. I think it only makes sense to reach out to the selectmen who, if there is going to be a buyout, would be charged with figuring out how they're going to come up with the money to get their opinion and views. I mean, I agree with the point of we could squabble over numbers. Is it 6.5? Is it 7.8? Is it 5.2? But I think the question needs to be said, no matter what the number is, how do you feel if this is the number? And if this is accurate, we're only going back to 99 at this point. Is that something you believe that the town of Sandown could absorb, and is something that's, are you telling us as a representative of Sandown, a leader of Sandown, that this is worthy to pursue, that yes, we should be going this route? I think that's vitally important. I think that's a great idea.
So, and I think if they say, no, it's not, then we mutually agree to drop it. If they say anything else, then I think we write the report and we move forward. But I think we give them the opportunity to opt out.
I think we have an order of magnitude here. Like you said, it might be
right.
plus or minus a couple $100,000, but I think we have a relative. It's
Even,
not $1 million.
Even if it's plus or minus a couple million, I think it's still a very significant number for the town of Sandown, for any of our towns.
I don't know that though, and that's the point of getting together with the town of Sandown.
Well, certainly enough for them to have consideration. You know what I mean? So, I think it was John and then Cameron.
I agree that going to the Sandown Board of Selectmen is a good idea. I think this number at least reflects an order of magnitude. I can't see it changing by much unless we decide to go further back, in which it'll become bigger. I wouldn't want to have us make a decision now on what we would do based upon what they say. I think we ought to let them have their say, then as a committee we come back and decide what we're going to do. It frustrates me and continues to frustrate me that we haven't talked hardly at all about students and impact to students. I would like to see us do that sometime. I also have a couple of other things that I would like to bring up. I don't mean to hog the floor though, but other things that I've been thinking about. For example, the Timberlane School District has an agreement with the Timberlane teachers and also support staff. I have a separate agreement. What's the impact there on that agreement should Sandown pull out?
So I actually had this conversation with our attorney. The teachers and administration in the Sandown buildings are Timberlane employees.
Right.
And they will be in Timberlane employees unless we let them go or they leave, just like any other job.
Well, yes, right.
So,
obviously there will be some leaving.
Right, so if Sandown creates their own school district, they would have to rehire, you know, their full staff.
Whether it's the same people
and
or
then
different people.
if that staff wanted to create a union, then that staff would do that. But as far as moving the Timberlane collective bargaining agreement over to Sandown, I mean, that's not our decision.
Right, I understand.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to have that clarification.
Yeah.
So then, to talk about that a little bit more, if this happened, if Sandown withdrew, Sandown should not be assuming that they would be getting the same teachers that they have now.
I wouldn't.
Because, for example, you would think the administration of the school district would pick and choose and try to retain the best Sandown teachers, you know, for themselves, of course.
And of
We
course,
would
it's
think that.
the teachers has the final say either way.
Right.
Right. No one owns the teacher. either
Right, and I
way.
just want to get that idea out there,
Yeah.
that let's not assume that the teachers are moving
There,
along.
there-
with
there may
the
be
school.
teachers that want to stay within those buildings, and there may be teachers that don't. That's
Sure.
something that would work itself out, I would assume.
So one of the things that would happen then, there would be, I don't know, what's the total teaching population in the school district? Anybody know that?
This is
700,
the six-
800?
300 on the order.
Whatever the number is, there would be a huge layoff,
Yes.
right? One quarter, round numbers, 1/4 of the staff would be laid
You're
off.
assuming with that, though, that all the middle school and high school students go elsewhere,
That's true, that's a good point.
right?
But if they did, then there would be a huge layoff.
Right.
What would be the impact to the school district on something like unemployment insurance or unemployment costs?
Right.
Do we know?
We can actually.
Is that something we could get on the agenda next time to discuss?
Well, I mean, yeah, I can get the information.
Because I understand this cause, and to stand out like to do this, I understand. But I don't think we've talked enough about the impact to the other three towns. Like there would be some impact to us, perhaps unemployment costs would be impacted, or other things related to that we haven't thought of.
Sure.
For example, activities at the high school, sports, band, right? Every sports team, day one, won't be as good as they were before. Losing 1/4 of their starters.
Sure.
They're losing 1/4 of the band.
Right.
They're losing, and I think I'd at least like us to have some sort of conversation about impact to students and things like that. Maybe we, for those familiar with sport, maybe we drop down a class, you know, we're not class L or whatever they call it, maybe we're class R.
D1 versus D2.
D1, or D2 versus D1. Kids would be less likely to get college scholarships if they're playing for a smaller school, than playing for a larger school. Just those kinds of things. I just don't want to bring it up right now and turn it into an hour discussion, but maybe if we could put that on our agenda next time.
There's also impact to the courses offered at the high school.
Sure.
So,
Is it worth talking about that until we know which school is most economical? Because maybe, I would hate to bring into that conversation and then find out that Sandon finds that staying in Timberlane, or sending their kids, tuitioning their kids into Timberlane still makes the most amount of sense. So is it worth having that conversation until we've gotten to the point where we understand what school?
I'd like to have it because it might affect our decision, whether we think it's suitable. Maybe we don't think it's suitable that a quarter of the kids do it. And I'm not looking for to discuss it now. Maybe we can put it on a future agenda. But in general, my concern is I don't think we're talking enough about students, impact to students, kids. I understand the importance of the numbers, and the decision will be probably made based on numbers, but we at least ought to have some talk about those kinds of things. Thank you.
So if Kim's next, then Jack, and then Jason.
I agree that the quality of the education is of significant importance to the town of Sandown, in addition to the cost. Because when you look at changing districts, you're also looking at affecting property values more than likely.
I think John was speaking to the remaining part.
No, I know, but I'm going back to the Board of Selectmen. And then there's also the issue of, my concern here, and it's a much greater issue, is that this RSA, the way it's written, makes it almost impossible for a district with our longevity to have anybody withdraw, which makes the RSA, and I'm just speaking off the top of my head, invalid, because no one can find it feasible or suitable to withdraw from a district after a certain period of time. So that's just a question that hangs out there for me. In terms of...
Well, and just to a point of fact is that there have been 4 withdrawals that have happened in the state of New Hampshire. All of them were successful.
True, but not with a district like this that had as many towns and the longevity and the constraints of the Articles of Agreement.
That makes us different.
Exactly. So there could be a bigger issue here. And, you know, in terms of, I understand your point on athletics, band, whatever, but in my mind, a school is about academics, and that's the only thing that I think this committee should focus on, in terms of looking at whether or not it's suitable.
In theory,